Welcome to Get Serious Mindset Sunday here. Also, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there who might be listening to this one. So I had this 1,500-page, more modern philosophy book recommended to me that has just been on my to-read list for probably like over 3 years. Called The Matter with Things by Ian McGilchrist. Super verbose author, but extremely well regarded, more famous probably for the Master and the Emissary. And his general paradigm is that there's a difference between left hemisphere thinking and right hemisphere thinking, and that society has trended too much toward the overly literal and reductive left hemispheric thinking versus the more holistic and context-driven right hemisphere, and basically indicating that the right hemisphere was built to be the master and the left hemisphere to be the emissary, meaning it goes and collects various data for the right hemisphere to process. But ultimately, the right hemisphere has to drive the primary decision-making in order for society to function at its best. A really compelling argument that weaves in neuroscience and philosophy and nature of the cosmos and so forth. But, a huge tome, right? 1,500 pages. So I built out this, I think I'd mentioned before, book summarizer within ChatGPT, and it goes chapter by chapter, and it still took me like a month to get through it because I really wanted a more solidified understanding of the book without, getting trapped into something that might take me a year to read, something that dense and long. But I wanted to share just a couple additional thoughts from the author here, because again, the custom GPT, it maintains the language style and tone of the author here. And like I matched that up with going back to the source material. So that was really a key focus building this out. And something that I have just been thinking a lot more about, and I think is just a more motivating way to operate, especially like when you're just in the grind, building a business, or even just living your daily life, where you can feel a bit separate and fragmented from what your overarching purpose might be. Like, why do you continue to show up? Do you have to keep forcing yourself to pursue your goals? And do you even know why you have those goals? And so the author McGilchrist, he was mentioning, and I'm just going to, quote a couple of these items here, specifically when he was talking about consciousness. And he's saying, consciousness becomes the organ of orientation, the capacity through which reality becomes aware of itself and its possibilities. And this forward pull is not deterministic, it is evocative, drawing beings toward what they might become. One more part here, and we'll pause. Consciousness's emergence is not an accident, but a sign of the cosmos seeking to know and articulate itself. To live consciously is to participate in this directional flow, to become a co-creator in the world's ongoing genesis. So this resonated with me deeply because it recontextualizes our role within the universe, and all of a sudden we're not, just this. I think a lot of people can think, yeah, of course, we're all part of one big world, etc. We only have access to our own thoughts, and it can, even if you can intellectualize we're part of something bigger than myself, oftentimes like during a day-to-day experience, it doesn't really feel like that. And you can feel alone and just lost and stuck. And what am I actually a part of? And why am I, taking these actions, or what type of goals am I trying to accomplish here? And I think this reframe to instead see your own consciousness and state of being more as a process of the universe, both discovering itself and being part of this overall progress toward knowledge building and creativity and problem solving and potential and realized potential, is a much more exciting and invigorating approach toward just day-to-day life and pursuing your own goals, and just yeah, I think it kind of forces open a window within your mind to be thinking, okay, like look for some more of those opportunities where you feel like a real stroke of inspiration and some awe, and realize like, wow, the capabilities that I have, like, again, it's the universe expressing itself to solve these problems, and I have to be willing to channel that energy through my own individual experience in order for the universe to reach that next step that it is trying to discover through me as a vessel. So I know these are really heady topics, of course, but I think when you really start to grasp some of that, again, is just much more optimistic and motivating to continue to move forward with whatever you might be working on. Or if you're in a stuck place, like, okay, take a step back and realize, all right, where is this kind of potential or energy that's trying to move through me? Where is it trying to go? Can I move it in a different direction? Am I in an area that is not actually making sense for where the universe is trying to guide my realized potential in the midst of, you know, everybody else and the larger society and community that we're all a part of? So I found that just to be extraordinarily, again, invigorating, optimistic, more mind-opening as far as just being something larger than yourself, which I think all too often we forget on a day-to-day experience. You know, I think just to, I'll end with a couple other passages just because they're related. In you know, corresponding to creativity, which is kind of what we were talking about here, is that you know, the author would warn that when creativity is reduced to output or achievement, we lose the participatory depth, you know, meaning, you know, our role in actually bringing forth, you know, the output that we're looking for. But when we start treating ideas as commodities and the world as raw material, but when creativity is understood as communion, it re-enchants both the self and the world. And in this light, creativity becomes a spiritual act, an offering, a response, co-creation. So whether painting, theorizing, or simply being, we are engaging in a process that is older and deeper than we are. We are giving voice to the world's becoming, not from above, but from within. So to create, then, is not just to make, it is to join the dance. It is to become a living thread in the tapestry of unfolding being. Just beautiful, beautiful language, I think, to, again, evoke the discussion we were just having on this topic of, again, entering into a communion and being a part of a universal process that is a constant state of becoming. There is no stasis. There is only evolution. There is only growth. There is only becoming. All of us, whether inert or organic matter, we are all in a forward state of some level of progress. And as long as we can understand that, we can have better appreciation for both our potential and how we can participate in something that is just truly sacred when you consider the quote-unquote divine process that we are all part of. Whatever religious beliefs that you might have, whatever spirituality, I think it's a largely universal line of thinking that we as humans can all appreciate on a deep level. So I'll leave you with that there. Again, very, very interesting topics. Can discuss this type of stuff for hours on end. But hopefully you found this to be helpful in your own journey of growth and becoming. With that, seriousland.capital for any of your funding needs, Land Daily Diligence Facebook group for zero cost review of your land deals, and landpricer.ai for the most reliable funding, most reliable land pricing tool on the market. With that, enjoy your Father's Day, subscribe and share, and take care, everybody. Bye.